Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other places people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple: Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you get paid to podcast. For the Scout Team MVPs and what we decided to use to get our podcast off the ground, there was no better choice than Anchor. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome to the Scout Team MVPs podcast, your home for weekly sports talk, where we break down all of your favorite teams, players, and upcoming matchups. Here are your hosts, the Scout Team MVPs.
That's right, we are the Scout Team MVPs, and we are your weekly sports talk podcast. I am Chris McMillan, and this is episode 1 of what is going to be weekly content on the non-stop action in the world of sports. Our goal is to keep you updated on the biggest news, insights, player and team profiles, and we might even try our hand at giving some fantasy football advice every now and again. You can hear us on the Anchor app as well as all the other major podcasting platforms, so be sure to subscribe and never miss an episode. You can also stay up to date with everything that we are doing on Facebook and Twitter by following us at Scout Team MVPs, checking out our website at www.scoutteammvps.com. I'm joined today, like I will every week, by my fellow Scout Team MVPs, Rob Guthrie and Shane Burlick. Say hi, boys.
Howdy.
Hi, boys.
That's Shane. That's Shane for you right there.
I have the sense of humor around here.
I think it's only fitting, that we start off by telling you a little bit about ourselves and kind of tell you who we are and why we're doing the podcast. We are all Wisconsin born and raised, which I think you guys will kind of get a sense of as we progress through the podcast series. When we talk about Wisconsin sports, we probably know the most about them. However, of the three of us, I am the only Packer fan of the group, so I'm sure we'll have some interesting conversations down the road about that. We also all attended the same high school together, so I'm sure you guys will hear us talk about some of our throwback, nostalgic times as we were all Palmyra Eagle Panthers, suiting them up for the purple and white. Overall, we're just three friends who enjoy talking sports, and we want you guys to come along for the ride, and we hope you enjoy our podcast series. For our first episode, we're going to go in depth and break down all the recent news that come out of Packerland in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're talking about the Packers and their firing of Coach Mike McCarthy, as well as the associate head coach Winston Moss. We're also going to break down a little bit of NBA action and talk about the first month and a half of the season, where teams stand. And we also want to talk about our hometown team here, the Milwaukee Bucks. Our third segment, we're going to get into some golf and talk about the showdown between Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson, get our reactions and what we expect to see from Tiger during the 2019 season. And our fourth and final segment of the show, we are going to do a little bit of NFL Pick'em in a segment that we like to call Scouting for Picks. Let's jump right into our first topic of the show, and let's talk a little bit about the Green Bay Packers and their recent coach firings, and we're going to have Rob start us off and tell us what he thinks.
I'm not super stoked that they fired McCarthy. I get it's nature of the business, but I hate when teams fire the coaches when the team sucks. I think they're going to miss McCarthy, when they pick a new coach. So.
All right, Shane, what do you think about the Packer news so far here?
Well, I'm definitely the most opinionated in regards to this, my Aaron Rodgers feelings. I think anytime you fire the head coach because your quarterback doesn't like him, because his numbers are struggling this year, so you find him blaming Mike McCarthy for the problems. I mean, yeah, McCarthy's tenure probably had to come to an end. it kind of started when that Seattle loss in the NFC Championship. That was the beginning of the end. It is time, I think. I thought they would have waited till after the season. I don't know what the Packers fans think about it. Chris, maybe you can fill us in on that. But I thought the timing was a little bad. I think you wait till after the season. That way you see who's going to be available. Because there's going to be other coaches that are fired here by the end of the year.
Yeah, sure. I guess, that's kind of what I was going to go into next, was kind of like the timing of it all. I think the writing was on the wall. Like I said, I guess I'm not really a huge proponent of getting rid of a coach in the middle of a season, especially after somebody that's, given the last 13 years to the organization. However, I just think that it was inevitable, so better to do it now, kind of get that coaching search started a little bit early. So I don't know if it should be done any differently. I think it is what it is at this point. But what I did want to touch on too was that I did just see today that yesterday McCarthy actually came back to Green Bay and he addressed the team in the locker room, just because, he was fired so soon after that game on Sunday that he didn't really give a chance to talk to any of the guys and things like that. And so I thought that was kind of neat. But then, not only the huge McCarthy news that we had, we also, not short after that, we had an associate head coach, Winston Moss, fired, looks like because of some tweets that he sent off. And I'm going to read this tweet for you boys, and I kind of want to get your reaction to what he said. And I think you kind of touched on it a little bit already, but just kind of get reactions to what he said and what you guys think about it. So here's Winston Moss. His tweet says, "Ponder this. What championship teams have are great leadership, period. It's not the offensive guru trend. It's not the safe trend. Find somebody that is going to hold number 12 and everybody in this building to a hashtag Lombardi standard, period." And he ends it by saying hashtag losing sucks. And that kind of seems exactly why shortly thereafter he was removed as well, with Joe Philbin, the now interim head coach, saying, he wasn't a good fit. So what do you guys think about Winston Moss being let go as well right after McCarthy?
I take two things from that. One, that's Mark Murphy trying to show, hey, I'm in charge here, not anyone else. I believe there was actually a press conference. I was listening to this or read an article about it where Mark Murphy and the Packers GM were at a press conference, and he said, Murphy, that if there's a coach I like, that's who we're getting. And the media was like, well, what about the GM? What if he likes somebody? Kind of got on him about that. He didn't really have an answer. I believe his words were, "We don't like to deal in hypotheticals." So he's trying to show he's boss. And to me, that just reinforces also the fact that they're going to go with whatever Aaron Rodgers wants. He's the franchise quarterback. He is one of a kind, not got too many guys like him. So they're trying to keep him happy, I think. That's what I take away from why he was fired. That wasn't that bad of a tweet.
Okay, Rob, anything to say about Winston Moss?
I actually didn't mind the tweet. I just think that the content of the tweet was kind of ill-based because, leadership matters, but in the NFL, what matters now is the offensive guru trend. That's definitely the trend that is the safe trend, because that's what puts seats or people in the seats. That's what puts points on the board. They just play way too old school the style of football to really kind of keep up with the Rams and the Chiefs and teams like that.
See, I kind of disagree with that, though. You look at the last Super Bowl winners, they've all been the better defensive team. The Eagles over the Patriots, Denver, Seattle, they were all much better defensive teams. Now they were the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, Shane, I'd love to see them stop the Rams or Chiefs this year, though.
The Rams have been stopped. I'm just saying.
You're not wrong. Defense definitely does matter, but the Packers haven't had a good defense in 10 years. So
2009 when they won the Super Bowl.
If you're gonna hold defense accountable, then I
think
start with the coordinator there maybe.
I think Patton should go too, but that's another thing.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about first of all, Joe Philbin stepping in as interim head coach, and also Mike Pettin, I think, came out today at their press conference and said that, he still has no interest being a head coach. I know he said that when
Thank
he first signed with Green Bay to be their D coordinator. But what do you guys think as far as potential coaching candidates to come in and what's going to happen next?
Well, I don't think the timing was right, as Shane was saying earlier. They're not going to make the playoffs anyway. What's the sense of firing McCarthy mid, pretty much late season? Why not wait till after the season's over? But definitely not Joe Philbin or Mike Pettine. I just don't think that's the fit.
Pettin, Rob.
Mike Pettin?
Pettin, Pettine, tomato.
Yeah, close enough.
It's all the same to me. Either way, he shouldn't be the head coach. So,
let's go over some
I
of
like
the.
Bruce Arians for the job, though.
There you go.
Bruce Arians? I don't like Bruce Arians. He
took that Cardinals team and he turned them into an actual decent team. I can only
imagine. But what did they win? They didn't win anything. They had some bad luck with some quarterback injuries.
You put Bruce Arians, the head coach of an Aaron Rodgers team.
Okay, you want to talk about that then? Why not Josh McDaniels? Look at that Patriots team. They've how many Super Bowls have they won with him as the OC? Look at Tom Brady. He's going to probably go down as the greatest quarterback of all time. Don't you think? If Aaron Rodgers is a better pure passer, McDaniels can get more out of Rodgers than he could even Brady.
I don't hate that fit, but do you think he's really going to leave the Patriots for a down and out team like the Packers? I don't think so.
Well, Green Bay's a storied franchise. That's
Patriots.
You don't get not too many opportunities.
But if you're talking about winning, he's not moving from the Patriots. So
yeah, but look.
Do you guys think that with Josh McDaniels, just recent history is just going back to last year, how he took the Colts job and then, it seemed like a day later kind of backed out of that and came back to the Patriots. Do you think that teams should be wary of him going forward?
No, I think he made the right call. Why would you ever leave the Patriots? I don't know why you would agree to leave the Patriots, period.
It's like you want to be a head coach. Why do you want to spend your life as an assistant manager?
Yeah, in my opinion, though, when the Patriots head coach is gone with Tom Brady, Josh McDaniels is in that role, and I think that's what he's waiting for now.
Okay, so on that point, you just made it as to why you wouldn't stay with New England. Tom Brady's what, in his 40s? Tom Brady's done
41, 42,
yeah. Yep.
Tom Brady's done soon. Belichick will probably go with him. Why wouldn't you go to Aaron Rodgers, who's only 35, where you probably have 5 to 7 more seasons of one of the best pure passers ever to play, instead of take on a new quarterback that is not proven and stay in New England?
Comes down to money then, though, doesn't it? The Packers aren't really going to pay you as much as the Patriots would, especially if he has a history of winning with the Patriots.
Yeah, but look at the history of the Packers. The Packers are one of the most. Yeah, they're one of the most storied franchises. The history of the Packers is 10 years ago and beyond. You know what I mean? So. Not really.
The Patriots are here now, so.
They were in the NFC Championship game like 2 years ago.
Yeah, out of the last, like I said, they won that one Super Bowl, but they've been to the playoffs, sure, but that happens when you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback.
So they still have Aaron Rodgers at their quarterback. They still have Devontae Adams. They got some young wide receivers. I think Green Bay offensively will get better. I think defensively is where the problem lies.
Oh, of course, definitely, I agree.
Well, let's run down some of the other potential coaching candidates that are out there that are making the news recently. We've already touched on the internal candidates, Mike Pettin, Joe Philbin. It seems like, especially since Rob thinks his last name is Pettine, we're definitely not going in that direction. We've talked a little bit about Bruce. Yeah. We've talked a little bit about Bruce Arians, Josh McDaniels, who's touched on. What about let's talk about John Harbaugh, the current Ravens head coach. If he was to be let go as the Ravens head coach, do you see him being a fit in Green Bay?
I see the Packers wanting any big name coach, sure, but I don't think he's the right fit. I think the Packers need to move more of an offensive, minded team and, start putting up points like the Rams, because their defense isn't going to get them there. So they need to, kind of need to outscore the opponent. That's pretty much the whole scheme there, I think.
I kind of agree
Shane,
to a point.
thoughts?
I think Harbaugh defensively would help as a head coach, but I don't think he's the right fit offensively.
Right.
To Rob's point, I mean, a lot of people talking Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma's head coach. I mean, that would kind of fit with the Sean McVay type, coach that's the sexy
young head
pick
coach,
now.
right?
Yeah.
Since you just talked about college coaches a little bit, you got something, Rob, on that topic still?
Yeah, I have a lot on that. See, in my opinion, I think the Packers kind of need like a full overhaul, and there's 2 college coaches that fully overhaul their teams, and they're big names, but I mean, maybe that's what you need at this point. Nick Saban, I heard a few times in the news. I don't think he's ever going to leave Alabama, but
Absolutely not.
Especially after his last stint in the NFL.
You were talking about money.
Yeah.
You're talking about money. Where's he going to get more money than Alabama?
Oh, I know.
He's got the cushiest job in America.
Yeah,
and that's
best
why
recruiting
he's not leaving. But it's definitely intriguing as a thought. And then my favorite so far, coaches my Michigan Wolverines, Jim Harbaugh. I love him as a coach.
God,
we've seen
please
that
no.
fail. We've seen that fail several times.
Please no. Being a Badger fan and just having Harbaugh as the Michigan coach and just seeing his face every Saturday, like I just don't think I could take it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't like. I mean, he's super annoying. I get that, and his face may be kind of hideous to look at. But he's turned that Michigan team, who has been trashed the last 10 years, into a top 6 team in CFB.
How many
it's
times
definitely
has he beaten
impressive
Ohio
what
State?
he's done.
How many times has he beaten Ohio State?
Yeah, the big game.
How many times has Wisconsin beat Ohio State?
Well, that's not what we're talking about. So that's
irrelevant.
I'm saying Ohio State's a good team.
Right, but Michigan had them at the Big House when they were on paper a better team. Lost. Michigan all these years. Oh, Michigan. They choke at the end of the season, kind of like the 49ers did with Harbaugh as head coach.
And I get in college it means more to win those big games, but in the NFL you lose a game versus the Vikings 1 week, it's not a necessarily killer like if you lose to Ohio State in week 6 or whatever.
Yeah, but every playoff game in the NFL is do or die. It's not like, oh, you had a bad week, come back next week. It's over.
Agree, but the Packers have been to 1 Super Bowl in the last. It feels like 100 years, and it's worth a try in my opinion.
Yeah, but you look at the Packers' success. I know you're a Lions fan, Rob. Wouldn't you kill to have the Lions have the similar success to the Packers in the last 10 years?
I don't know. They've only won 1 more Super Bowl than the Lions in the past 10 years.
Yeah, but how many times have the Lions been to the playoffs in the last 10 years?
The Lions, I mean, they're in a stacked division, so it's going to be tough.
Yeah,
the Lions aren't there. They
are they though?
The Lions are they're worse than the Packers when it comes to management and coaching.
So they're in a stacked division, but the Packers have rebuilt. The Bears have rebuilt. The Vikings have rebuilt. What's happened to the Lions?
It seems like they've been in a constant rebuild since about 1993.
They always will be.
Barry Sanders walked away from that team because they couldn't rebuild the team to put a good team around
Calvin
him.
Johnson did the same thing, and I have a feeling
maybe in a future episode. And maybe in a future episode, we can touch on the all-elusive Barry Sanders and how the Green Bay Packers decided to not draft him and take, the incredible bulk Tony Mandrich. But that's for another day. So it sounds like the Packers have a huge kind of undertaking on their hands, as finding a new coach and who's going to fit with that team and Aaron Rodgers specifically. But let's kind of move into a little bit.
I just want to add one more thing real quick to that is it's going to be hard for whoever has to pick the coach because no matter what, Packers fans have an unbelievable ability to blame everything on the head coach. They've been calling for McCarthy's job the year after he won the Super Bowl. So I just think whoever they pick, it's going to be a big choice, and it's got to stick for a long time. So it's going to be a really tough decision.
Do we have time for me to throw out 2 dark horse candidates?
You got 30 seconds, Shane. Go ahead.
All right. this one's going to be way out of left field, but I talked to a guy from Green Bay today, and he said sports radio up there is throwing around two names. You know one, Brett Favre. Not going to happen.
Oh, boy.
But look at the story. And then Lombardi from New Orleans.
Yep.
How about that?
He's
Two-
one of my
kind of
dark
story
two
would
big
that
time
be?
pack.
as well.
It would be a great story. It'd be awesome for all the media and sports writers and people like us to talk about. But as far as it actually happening, I think we all know that it's not.
Brett
But
Favre,
yeah, I
offensive
mean it's cool.
coordinator.
It's cool to talk about and cool to think about. Brett Favre's return to Green Bay. Calling the plays for Aaron Rodgers. That'd be something, hey.
Yeah,
That would definitely not fly.
I'd watch.
I think a lot of
you'd
people would
watch
watch.
Aaron Rodgers wouldn't even let him come into the door. So
Well, at least we got a built-in backup quarterback if anything happens. So,
Yeah, right.
all right,
Player coach.
here we go. Let's kind of move into a little bit of NBA action, and kind of looking at
ooh, my
the
favorite.
current state of affairs. I know, Rob, you're a big basketball guy. So let's kind of talk a little bit about what's been going on in the NBA so far, and maybe some of the surprising teams and what you're looking forward to seeing. And since we are Wisconsin boys here, let's talk a little bit about the Bucks too and what we've seen from them so far. So, Rob, why don't you go ahead and get us started on some NBA talk and maybe talk a little bit about the current standings and where things are at right now.
All right, so of course in the East with LeBron being in the West now, Toronto is just, I think they iced up that number one spot. I think for some
Already?
reason, no matter who you put on that team.
What, if they played
traded
26 games? It's all over?
Yeah, but
26
if you
games
watch
in?
them play,
It's over.
I mean, it's
It's
really
over.
It's really crazy to see how good they are when you
Didn't the
watch
Bucks-
them play.
Didn't the Bucks beat Toronto in Toronto
I
already
love
this season?
I love the Bucks too, bud. I think this is the most exciting Bucks team I've watched in a while, and they're winning games. And the Greek Freak is he's just that. He's a freak. So
Trade him for John Salmons.
We want John Salmons back for sure.
Give me Darvin Ham, the Ham Slam.
Well, he's a coach. He's a coach now. The old Darvin Ham. He's on the bench.
Is he?
We could suit him up. Get out there, big boy.
Yeah,
But
I'd say bring back Tim Thomas. But I don't know about that.
I want Tim Thomas in his double headbands. Just running down the court.
Michael Redd.
Anthony Mason.
Michael Redd is the best shooter in the history of the NBA, according to Ben.
We all know Michael Redd, best 3-point shooter in the history of the NBA. But yeah, Rob, you talked a little bit about the Raptors and the Bucks kind of on top of the East right now. Looking at the West, we're always the Warriors are always going to be there at the end. I'm not really too concerned about where they sit right now. It looks like they're in fourth. But with so many games, you're concerned with the Warriors?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Two of their stars can't get along. They're like 14-year-old girls.
Isn't that every major team though?
No. I mean, when Draymond Green and Kevin Durant are fighting over who gets to bring the ball up, really?
Dude, it's that Michigan State and Draymond.
Yeah, no kidding. That's the worst.
I'm just telling you right now, I think the Warriors are showing vulnerability for the first time since they got that team together.
I 100% agree with you, Shane, but the Warriors have been held to an extremely high standard. I think that, only 9 losses in 26 games so far is
but
not
still for them, doesn't
considering
that
it
seem?
only puts
I
them
guess
2
kind of.
games out from.
They only
number
lost
one.
9 games in a season a couple times, or right around there.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's very true.
I know, but I mean that you can't expect them to repeat that over and over and over.
Why? They have Curry, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson. You add DeMarcus Cousins.
There's bound to be teams that are going to figure them out and adjust accordingly.
What's there to figure out? They shoot threes. I mean, you live and die by the three, and they do it better than anyone.
Perimeter defending.
Have you seen Steph Curry shoot the three over people?
But he can't go off for 80 a game. He's not gonna win you a game every day. So
haven't the Warriors proved that they can be this good all the time for the last 4 years now?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They might lose as many games this season as they have in the last 2 seasons combined. I mean, that's
so
insane.
So I guess, yeah, that would be a little chink in the armor. But I think when push comes to shove, when you have that many quality players and stars like the Warriors do, I think once it comes to playoff time, they're going to strap them up and be ready to go. I mean, we've seen it plenty of times with LeBron teams in the past that regular season comes and everyone's talking, oh, what's wrong with the Cavs? What's wrong with the Cavs? And then the playoffs come and there's the Cavs right back in the NBA Finals. I'm not worried about the Warriors right now, being so early in the season still. But they might have a couple of chinks in the armor that we aren't used to seeing. But I guess we'll see as the season kind of plays out here.
I mean, the fact that the Thunder are ahead of them. I mean, I read a stat today that Russell Westbrook for his career is something like 22% from 3-point range. That's insane.
Ball in.
How terrible is that? I think, Rob, you shot better than that in high school.
I still want him on my team, though, Shane.
He's a ball hog, kind of. I mean, that's why they can't win. I mean, you stop Russell Westbrook.
But you just said, did you not just say they were doing well this year? And
I was saying it's surprising that they're doing better than the Warriors with what? Russell Westbrook? Who else is on that team that's going to beat you?
Well, they got
that
Paul
big
George.
old Steven Adams down low. He can be a tough matchup.
Yeah,
Paul
Steven Adams going for 30 and 15 a day. Every night you can count on him.
Yeah, it's not necessarily what I'm saying, but
I'm sorry.
He's definitely a big guy and uses his body well. So
I just don't see the Thunder as a threat, even though they are 16 and 7.
I think until we are proven otherwise, the Warriors are still the team to beat in the West, and I mean, I don't see it turning out any differently.
What do you think about
when it changes? Come playoff time, we can cue this back, and we can. You guys can laugh at me if you'd like, but I still think the Warriors are going to be there right at the end.
Well,
I 100% agree.
What about the Lakers with LeBron this year? He's been to 7, 8 straight finals. Any chance they can go back?
Well, I'm actually a little disappointed. I mean, I've been a Lakers fan until he joined the team, and I'm a little.
Wait, so you're not? So you were a Lakers fan, but you're not now that LeBron's on the team?
I've been a Lakers fan my whole entire life, but I cannot stand LeBron, and people may hate me for that, but
what are you gonna do?
I just think that the Lakers are really underperforming considering the given roster and having.
I think they're playing for next year. They're playing for next year. They're gonna have Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard on that team next year too. If they have money, you kidding me?
They were supposed to have all them players this year as well.
Yeah, but Anthony Davis, I think, is a free agent after this year, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got so many ties to New Orleans, though he's not leaving the Pelicans.
He will leave the Pelicans for LA any day of the week.
No, I disagree wholeheartedly.
LA? Are you kidding me? Play with LeBron in the West? And especially
you can touch the ball half as many times a game.
Are you kidding me? LeBron is not nearly as much of a ball hog as Westbrook and all those
literally
other guys.
touches the ball every single time.
Yeah, because he plays the point. Plays the point guard.
He's a 4 spot. How can he play the point? Explain that to me.
He plays all every 5 spot on the court. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Who'd you rather have play point, Lonzo?
I mean, that's what they drafted him for, is it not?
Big baller brand.
Yeah.
Is that not what they drafted him for?
Out there running his mouth.
I want LeVar. I want Lonzo. I want LaMelo. And who's the other one? The forgotten one?
LaMarcus or something like
that.
LiAngelo Ball. I want all 4 of them with LeBron on the court at the same time.
Which one was the shoplifter?
LiAngelo. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Yep. Got booted from UCLA before he even got going, and then they went to Lithuania or whatever it was, and played for like 6 months, and then left there too. So the Ball family.
Yeah, it's funny we don't hear anything more from LeVar Ball. He had his 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, once you stop feeding the trolls, they disappear. So
sold a couple T-shirts.
Yeah, did you guys get your like $400 Lonzo shoes or whatever?
Last pair of shoes.
Rob, I know you got a pair.
Not a chance.
CO2. No.
Last pair of shoes I bought were $9 from Walmart. That's how
you get those Shaq shoes.
Wow, same shoes my grandpa has. I just wanted to hang out with him and look similar.
Oh, you get those Velcro straps going?
Yeah, dude. I didn't know how to tie
Dude,
my
that
shoes
saves
until
time.
I didn't know how to tie my shoes until third grade.
Yeah, dude, it saves time too, so I don't blame you. I mean, cool. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, I mean, obviously we're so early in the NBA season right now, but we've got a couple of contenders, and I cannot wait to see my Bucks make it past the first round for the first time in what has it been, 16 years?
Yeah.
So
And a turn.
it'll be interesting to see what they do going from here. But I think it's time to transition into our segment number 3 and talk a little golf. The big news that happened, over the Thanksgiving weekend is we had a Tiger Woods versus Phil Mickelson first time ever pay-per-view event. I want to kind of get your guys' reactions to it. Did you watch it? Your thoughts? Are you surprised that Phil won? I think, Shane, why don't you go ahead and kind of start us off here with some Tiger versus Phil action. What did you think? Did you watch it?
No, I was actually, if there's a This Old House marathon on, that was a little bit more interesting. So, but no, yeah, I thought we were at the comedy section of the show when you were talking about that. They were supposed to be mic'd up and trash talking each other. I didn't know that, like, hey, good shot, Phil, was trash talk. Pretty sure when we golf together, there's a lot more trash talk that occurs than that.
I'd love to mic us up when we're golfing.
Yeah, dude, we should be out there golfing for $9 million. All right.
Yeah, I could hit the ball in the water for $9 million. That wouldn't be a problem.
maybe once this podcast takes off, we can get some sponsors and we can get our Scout Team MVPs pay-per-view golf event and $9 million on the line. Winner take all. I think we would definitely put on a better trash talking event than Phil and Tiger did. Yeah, it was kind of boring and to some sense. I mean, it was cool at the same time being kind of one of its kind, but yeah, the golf was kind of brutal. I watched the entire thing. I wish I hadn't.
Did you?
I could have seen the 3 highlights that came out of that match after it was done. But I don't know. So it was kind of neat, kind of cool, but at the same time, could have done without. Rob, thoughts, reactions?
Unfortunately, I didn't watch it. You guys know me; I'm a huge golf fan, so I really wanted to watch it. But the wife wanted to go shopping, so we went shopping.
You made the right call.
Yep. Yep.
I did see
Priorities.
Well, I don't know priorities.
Interview where they kind of jousted at each other and put $200K on the line for the first hole. That was pretty exciting. But other than that, that's all I'm pretty sure happened out of that one.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of thinking with how much money both of those guys have that we would have seen a lot more of, all right, I'm going to stick this within 10 feet and then I'm going to put $1 million and say that I do it. Kind of just
yeah.
What's $200,000
more money on the line.
Tiger Woods?
Nothing. It's like
me going out there and say, Chris, I'll play you for a quarter.
Well, I'd win that quarter. I think we both know I'd win that quarter.
Yeah, you'd win. On my golf game's pretty freaking horrible.
Chris, are you surprised that Phil won it all?
Am I surprised that Phil won? No, absolutely not. I mean, I think Tiger had a really, really successful 2018 considering where he was at, a year ago, even a couple months before that season started. No, we didn't even know if he was going to play again, but for him to be competitive in a lot of different tournaments this year and win again on tour this year, I think, that was great. But at the same time, his game is still so inconsistent that it didn't surprise me one bit that Phil won, even after were they on like the 24th hole or whatever?
Yeah.
But it wasn't even a tough course they played.
I agree
it seemed to be set up for birdies, but they just didn't convert.
Well, can I ask a quick question? You said you watched the whole thing, right, Chris?
Yep.
Are you one of the people that paid for it, or are you one of the people that got it for free?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So, it was broadcast live on Bleacher Report, and they had a little snafu with their pay-per-view, where everyone could actually watch for free instead of paying the $19.99 that it cost to watch. Sadly, I was one of those people that paid through my Dish subscription, so I paid that $20 and I watched that
entire round. And I have seen that some cable providers are refunding anybody that actually did pay for it. So I'm kind of hoping that comes down the line for me too. But yeah, no, as of right now, I paid $20. So.
Well, you can always, light a 20 on fire next time and just get the same amount of value out of it. So
I'll be sure next time I'm about to spend $20 on golf, I'll call.
Yeah, you should probably call me with any monetary decisions. I'm pretty frugal.
So, Chris, you watched the whole thing. Was it as close as the 24 hole suggested it was?
Phil seemed Phil was on top most of that round and that match. Tiger chipped in for birdie on 17 to get back, to even going into 18. But still, I think, I don't know. I don't think it was that close. I think Phil kind of took control of it from the get-go and kind of never let go. But, I mean, like I said, it was bad golf by both of those guys. And it wasn't – you expect to see people firing at pins and people making birdies, but I didn't think they made very many birdies at all. So
can I make a suggestion to golf in general? You know what you want to sell a pay-per-view golf event for? And this one's going to blow your mind. Happy Gilmore versus Shooter McGavin, Adam Sandler, I forget the guy's name. You want to sell tickets? That's it right there. I would pay for that.
We gotta pitch that because I think Turner was the one that put this on. We need to pitch that to Turner Sports next time and say, you guys actually want to put on a show? Here you go. We can redo the one. We can redo the '96 Tour Championship. Happy versus Shooter. Mano y mano.
This is golf. Go back to your shanties.
So it sounds like we're all kind of down on the Tiger Phil spectacle, but kind of staying on the Tiger topic real quick. Let's talk about his 2019 season and kind of just a quick, do we think he's going to win again next year? Does he have a major victory in his grasp or not? Personally, I think he'll win again next year. The majors have been so elusive since he's won his last one, but I do think he'll win again, maybe even 2 or 3 times. But major victory-wise, I'm just not sure it's ever going to happen again, which is sad because he was on such a tear for so long, and it just kind of all faded away. But Rob, thoughts on Tiger Woods' 2019 season?
Well, you did touch on his past of being on a tear. I mean, that's his whole career has been a tear. So it's just kind of crazy to see how low he's gotten and how he was able to pick himself up a little bit in 18. As far as winning goes, maybe, like you were touching on earlier, he is so inconsistent. And, you can't win majors or even non-major tournaments being that inconsistent. You need 4 good days, and I don't think he has it in him.
See, I think he'll win. I mean, look at the other guys. Who was the big one that was going to be the next Jordan Spieth? I think Jordan Spieth's already missed more cuts than Tiger Woods has the entire time he's played pro golf. So you want to talk about inconsistency. Look at Rory. He's just as inconsistent as Tiger half the time. Rose,
100%.
Thomas, Johnson, they can all be very inconsistent.
Yeah. Do you think, Shane, kind of going off of that point right there, that we just saw such good golf from Tiger for such a long time, and he was, number 1 player in the world for the most weeks consecutively ever, that we're just we hold him to such a high standard that we kind of overshadow, just how inconsistent some of these other players are?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Tiger is held, going back to the football thing, held to the same standard Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning are held to. Because he's been so good for so long, everyone's like, oh, well, what's going on with Tiger? He finished 4th today and missed a couple of fairways. Why? Like, nobody can be that good for that long. Tiger's in his 40s now. I mean, golf professionally maybe takes a toll on your body. I don't know. The way we do it, it definitely doesn't. But
I don't know, man.
Maybe the liver.
My back a few times.
Maybe my liver at the golf outing. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, but I mean, I don't know. I just think that what happened is Tiger used to be able to hit the ball farther than anyone. Now everyone hits the ball just as far as Tiger, and he's been inconsistent with his putter and his short game.
Yeah, and
so,
you know, Tiger back in the day when he was winning, he was a great putter. And to touch on some of the things you touched on, Shane, golf is inherently an inconsistent game. I mean, it's just naturally that way. I mean, when you see pro golfers go on tears where they win 5 tournaments and out of 12, that's incredible. So watching Tiger, what he's done over the years is astonishing. So you do kind of put him on a pedestal, and you know, it's an inherently inconsistent game, and you know, anything can happen. I hope he does win, but I just don't see it happening.
I would say it's inherently consistent for all three of us. We are consistently bad. So
yes, that is 100%.
Some of us more
true,
so than others.
So it sounds like Tiger versus Phil was a big negative, and we're not quite sure if Tiger's going to win or not in 2019. We think he will, but he just hasn't been very consistent since his comeback. So that kind of wraps up our third segment here, talking a little bit about golf. And now we are going to move into what I think could possibly be one of our favorite segments that we do, and we're going to try and do this weekly during the NFL season. We are currently approaching Week 14. We have a Week 14 matchup actually happening as we speak, but when you guys hear us, that one will be over. So Week 14 matchups this weekend, we are going to come into a segment now that we are going to call Scouting for Picks, and it's going to be kind of like a pick'em style. We are going to pick games every week, kind of based on some big-time matchups that we see coming up. We are going to take and look at the spreads for those games, and we're each going to pick whether we're going to take the team with the points or things like that, and over-unders and kind of deal. We're going to do kind of a tally as we go along throughout the NFL season. Or we have a short couple weeks left of this season, but coming into next year, we'll have a full year's worth of tallies and see who's going to come out on top. So the first game that we are going to pick, and these odds are from the Westgate Las Vegas Superbook as of December 6th here as we talk. The first game is the Philadelphia Eagles at the Dallas Cowboys this Sunday, 4:25 Eastern time, and the line right now sits at Dallas minus 3.5. Shane, what do you think about that line, and who are you gonna pick in that game?
This is a tough one, primarily because I hate Dallas. But Dallas is red hot right now. I think the last time they played, it was 27-20. The Cowboys won. Eagles, they barely beat the Giants, who are not very good this year. They beat Washington. Washington, Mark Sanchez finished that game at quarterback. So
Sanchez, my boy.
Not put any stock into that game. So I'm going to actually take Dallas. I don't think Philly will cover that
Straight up.
half. I don't think Philly's not going to cover the spread. Dallas will win it.
All right, Rob.
So since 2010, these two teams, when they play each other, have been practically even. I don't like the odds there. I'm actually going to go with Philadelphia on this one.
To cover or to win?
Yeah,
to cover or to win to straight up?
I think to win straight up.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a bold call, but I honestly think the Eagles can be so good and bound to get out of a slump, right? And why not take a shot?
That game is in Dallas,
I think.
Oh yeah,
I think Rob might have convinced me, and maybe more so because I just don't like the Cowboys, and I can't wait to see what Skip Bayless tweets when the Cowboys lose. So I am going to take the Eagles straight up as well. Rob, I like the pick.
I think you guys are wrong. I'm ahead of 1-0.
Okay.
The Eagles are so spotty, and I'm willing to put money on that they're gonna show up this week.
All right.
So our next scouting for picks game is the Los Angeles Rams at the Chicago Bears this Sunday night for Sunday Night Football. And the line right now sits at Rams -3. Shane, we'll start with you again. What do you got?
Rams will win easily. I think Chicago's kind of going downhill. Yeah, the Bears have a great defense. I think that loss to the Giants last week kind of not looking good. I didn't hear if Trubisky's playing this week or not. I heard they're kind of thinking about it yet. So, yeah, I got to go with the Rams. I just think that they've got too many weapons for the Bears.
Rams straight up?
Yep.
All right. Rob?
Well, both have very, middle of the road pass defenses, and that's kind of where they both like to play. But I think the Bears actually are going to pull that one out just because I think their defense, being able to stop the run and maybe stop Todd Gurley, is going to be the thing that sets them aside.
You taking the Bears with the points or Bears straight up? What do we got?
I'm taking Bears with the points.
So Bears are going to cover?
Yes, I think so.
All right, that leaves me. Let's see here. Being a Packers fan, it absolutely pains me to ever have to root for the Bears. And in this situation, I don't have to root for the Bears, so I'm going to take the Rams straight up. I hope it is 65-0. Rams straight up for me. All right. Our third and final scouting for picks game for this week is the Minnesota Vikings at the Seattle Seahawks, and that matchup takes place on Monday night. And the current line right now, which looks like Seattle -3. So Shane, give me your thoughts. I know you have an opinion on this one.
Yeah, I think Seattle's going to win it straight up. I think kind of two teams. Hey, I have a reason.
Let's hear it.
Okay, you look at Seattle's losses this year, right? All right. So they lost to who? The Broncos? Yeah, the Broncos are pretty bad. That was in Mile High. Seattle's always bad in the beginning of the season. Lost to Chicago in Chicago. They lost to the Rams. And then they lost to the Chargers and to the Rams. Rams have lost, one game this year? They're a good team.
Yep.
San Diego, playoff team in the AFC. Bears, another playoff team in the NFC, road game. Vikings haven't looked that consistent. I mean, Kirk Cousins, I'm not sold. He's just having a down year. I think Seattle's definitely going to go ahead and take that game. I mean, primarily being at home in CenturyLink primetime, they're tough. Russell Wilson, red hot right now. I know you don't like him, Chris, but he's one of the hottest quarterbacks in the league. He's having a good year.
Yes, very good-looking man, Russell Wilson.
That's not what I meant, but we learned a lot about you tonight.
That's true. Rob?
So,
what do we got for this Hawks versus Vikings matchup?
So Hawks and Vikings are, numbers-wise, dead even in rush defense. What sets them aside is Minnesota is number 9 in pass defense, and Seattle's number 19. So I'm kind of looking for Kirk Cousins to blow up Seattle just a little bit, and so I'm going to take them all out to win the game.
Do you like that?
I do.
I just don't see it.
Numbers don't lie. And Kirk Cousins, I mean, he can have good games.
Can have bad ones.
So you're taking Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. And I hate the Seahawks, so.
Minnesota to cover or Minnesota straight up?
Straight up, man. Straight up.
Minnesota straight up. So we've got Shane, Seahawks straight up. Rob, we've got Vikings straight up. That leaves me to break this tie. And I am going to side to everybody's. Let's see. What am I going to do? I'm going to go Seattle Seahawks straight up. I'm going to agree with Shane on this one. I am not the biggest Hawks fan, but like Shane has talked about, Hawks are playing pretty well. Russell Wilson is playing really well. I feel like they've always been inconsistent at times, but at the same time, playing at home on Monday nights in that environment, I'm going to go the Hawks straight up for that last scouting for picks matchup. Well, boys, what do you think? NFL Pick'em. Every week, I think it's going to be pretty fun. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm honestly excited for our second matchup here, the Rams-Bears. It's going to be a good one, and I think these are going to be super hot segments for the rest of our time here.
Oh,
Super hot, cute, hot fire, whatever the kids are saying these days. It's lit.
Fire hot,
this
lit.
segment is going to be lit.
I know.
Indeed.
I know we're not getting into this tonight, but hey, Rob, how's your fantasy team looking this year?
Hey, bud. Not great.
Let's save that for a future episode.
Can I tell you one thing, Shane? Chicago is ranked number 2 in rush defense, so if they can stop Todd Gurley, your Rams and your fantasy team is probably going to have a tough week.
Hey, Rob, I have a bye week this week, so.
And with that, I think that wraps up our Scouting for Picks segment on today's episode. What a great first episode I think we had here, guys. We talked a little bit of football, some Packers coaching firings. We talked a little NBA. We talked a little golf. We talked some NFL Pick'em. And I think we're going to enjoy talking sports every week. What do you guys think?
I mean, we talk sports every week as it is. We might as well do it recorded,
We might as well record our thoughts so we can come back to this and hear just how bad Rob's picks are every single week. Right, Shane?
I cannot wait to rub it in your face.
You don't want to record all my thoughts, just the sports thoughts. All of them might be in trouble. I don't know.
All right, with that, we're gonna wrap up our first ever podcast episode. Want to thank all you guys for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. You can find us on all major podcast platforms. We're also at anchor.fm/ScoutTeamMVPs. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter at ScoutTeamMVPs. We have our website, which we're going to have a lot more content coming soon, but that's at www.scoutteammvps.com. If you guys like what you hear from the Scout Team MVPs, don't hesitate to throw a little donation our way. It's always nice and appreciated to kind of help keep us going and help sustain this podcast. If you guys like what you hear and want to hear more episodes from the Scout Team MVPs, throw a little donation our way. We really appreciate it. Like I said, subscribe, and you guys can tune in weekly. We are going to produce new content every week. You're going to hear us on Wednesdays. We're going to drop new episodes, and you guys are going to love it. And we hope you guys enjoyed our first episode. Rob, Shane, thank you for joining me, and we will all talk soon, gentlemen.
Take care, boys.
Shooter versus Gilmore. You heard it here first.
Heard it here first. Here we go, Scout Team MVPs. Signing off.
Thank you for listening to the Scout Team MVPs. Be sure to subscribe and tune in next week as the MVPs discuss all the non-stop action in the world of sports.